Hallelujah and good evening. Welcome to WP Jou Lekker Ding. It's the podcast, your favorite podcast. I'm your host, and we are here at the Newlands Rugby Stadium. This show is for the faithful, and we've got a jam-packed one this evening. We've got Dieter van der Heever, the chairperson of the primary schools. He'll be chatting to us about his portfolio inside the Western Province Rugby Union. We've also got a few short interviews, and then we're going through some results, talking about the clubs, talking about fixtures, but most importantly, we'll be talking to you all about what's happening inside the Western Province Rugby Union. This evening, there's a massive meeting here, right, going on behind me. It's all the clubs that are tuning in, all the chairpersons, all the heads of their particular clubs, but we'll also be looking at two specific clubs. Big game coming up this weekend. They're not calling it a derby, they're calling it a celebration. It's going to be Villager taking on Primrose at the Primrose home ground. And we've got two of their stalwarts in the show this evening as well. So stay tuned, stay locked in, and remember to like, to share, and to subscribe. We'll be right back with you with the rest of the show. God bless. Welcome back as WP Jou Lekker Ding. And we're having a lekker time. Is altyd 'n lekker tyd in die WP, soos hier op in Nieuweland. En ek het twee baie merkwaardige manne saam met my. They're going to be chatting to us about the Western Province Rugby Union school system. Of course, I've got Kevin Grove and I've got Dieter van der Heever here. Dieter van der Heever is with the primary schools, and Kevin is with the high schools. Gentlemen, how are you guys doing this evening?
All good, thank you for having us.
All good, yes.
Yeah.
Back at the home of Western Province Rugby, so we're glad to be here.
It's beautiful to be here. Kevin, I'm going to start with you, of course, you with the high schools. At the moment, our schools are playing incredible rugby. Paul Jim, Paul Boys are, Stellenberg coming through the ranks. How would you make our school system at the moment, and just the type of quality rugby that we've been displaying on the rugby pitch?
Well, firstly, I would say that the reason why we are doing so well is because of a rich tradition and culture of rugby in the Western Cape. We have our big schools. Our big schools obviously recruit talent to the school, which make the schools stronger. It is a bit of a downer because it creates a gap between the top schools and the bottom schools. But despite that, the numbers in participation continues to grow. So our smaller schools, the game is growing. They're also going through a bit of a transformation process, because in the past, the top talent were in the township. Now the top talent is not in the township. They are recruited into the big schools. But fundamentally, for us to deliver the kind of performances that we've been delivered, and just to give you a stat, we have not lost Craven Week since 2018. So that would make about 3 games at Craven Week every year, times 6. So in 18 games, we haven't lost. So the system is healthy. We depend a lot, I'll be very honest with you, on our big schools. Because at our big schools, the old saying, if you want to be a champ, you got to compete with the champs. You can't play in a low league, not delivering the quality competition, and then expect to become a Western Province player.
Yeah.
So the quality of the competition is the one thing that put us, I would say, ahead of the rest of the country. They don't have that kind of quality Saturday after Saturday. In the Western Cape, you play Paul Jim on Saturday, next Saturday Paul Boys, next Saturday, and so it just goes on.
Paul Roos, you've got Ronda Bosch, Weinberg,
you got Ronda Bosch,
Sachs,
you got Weinberg, you got Sachs, you got 18 teams competing. The high school system is divided into leagues, so we have a Premier A with 10 schools, the top 10 schools. They've got 15 teams and above. Paul Boys, I think, currently is our biggest school in terms of participation. They've got more than 25 teams. Now that in itself is a massive participation number. So with those 10 schools, then we have Premier B. We've got 8 schools in our Premier B. They've got between 10 and 15 schools. And then we've got A1, A2, A3, and what we also call the VUCA League. So in terms of rugby culture, as I was saying right in the beginning, it is massive, it is huge, and it creates a wonderful pathway for the players to eventually become Springboks. And then also indicative of that, you'll see every year the under-23 world champ, our junior box. Western Province is, half of the team is made up of Western Province. Every year, SA schools, more than 50% of the team is Western Province, and it hasn't stopped. It just continued to go. To grow, and it's all due thanks to our schools. I think our schools delivers enormous quality in terms of the competition and the levels of skills and the availability of coaches
Yeah.
And all of that makes us a very, very strong, powerful union. Like they say, everybody wants to beat Western Province.
Yeah, everybody wants to beat Western Province. Dieter, you are the feeding, you are the pathway through the primary schools. I mean, I was at the Valley Leroux rugby fairs down at Primrose under 13s, seeing the quality of players there playing. Our schools, primary schools as well, proper pathway, a proper development phase for the boys and girls now to go on to play rugby at the highest level at high school.
Yeah, definitely. We're not as fortunate as Kerwin with having premier schools and Premier B and Premier A. But what we have is we also have a Saturday league. Those are the big schools. We call them big schools. They are 20 and above teams. Your Glen Boys, your Gym falls with Western Province as well as the boys' schools in the southern suburbs. And then we have a Wednesday league that we play barefeet.
Okay.
So these are junior clubs as well as schools right over from townships up to the suburbs. And obviously, you're going to find that schools are not as strong as the others because of facilities. Something I didn't mention there, but we're struggling with that. But the pathway is clear. What we give them at the end of the under 13 Craven Week, and now we build up to that Craven Week, and I'll talk about that now, is a product. And what just latch on what Kerwin has said with regards to players that made it through into the pathway right at this moment with the under 20s are playing. Under
Yakin
20s.
Ahmed is playing there now.
Yes. Riley Norton, Luca Buckers,
Came straight through under
Ollie
13s.
Reed. Those boys came through the under 12 system by us, and then into the under 13 system, and they've been throughout. We watched them. So with us, it is our trial system. We've got around about 190 registered schools and junior clubs, of which we've got 3 regions. That's Southern, Central, and Country. So our schools are all divided up into those regions. Schools nominate kids to go through to first round trials. They then play in the first round trials. After that, 2 rounds, they go into a regional trial where there's also 2 rounds. And after the regional trials, they play in a Western Province where we're going to have 3 rounds of trials. Selectors then pick 55, from which we will then have a final trial with Boland, SVD, EP.
The traditional trial.
There we go, and then we get 46 from that. The 46 will be the academy team and the Craven Week team that goes to the under 13 Craven Week. This year we're going to go to Bloemfontein, Great College, back there again. Ever since that the academy team was included with the Craven Week, the under 13 B team, it's either the 1 year we win the academies or we win the Craven Week. But we've been champions also 7 years in a row, and then after that, after COVID, a little bit of a slump. But again, we number 1, rated either number 1 or number 2, going into a Craven Week. And like Kerwin said, everyone wants to be the Western Province. There's a lot of kids at this moment in time that even at the primary school level are being looked at and being, like you mentioned earlier about scouts. People come out and they look at these kids coming from townships, and then they go to the big name schools, which some people have a problem with. Something that we can't do anything about, because you as a parent, if you are approached from a
Paul Boys or
Paul Boys, you want your child to be at their school and offering not only good rugby but also good academics and something for
opportunity.
There's nothing we can do about that, and the landscape of rugby is changing quite fast. Just the last thing on that also, the rest of the country is envious of the Western Cape. When I say Western Cape, that includes a Boland and a SVD and a Western Province, because of the talent that we have. And when we speak about talent, I'm talking about, we talk about POCs these days, players of color. We've got abundance of talent in the Western Cape, natural talent, which the other provinces don't really have. So now they come and shopping here.
Yeah.
From a young age, they're coming to shop here and trying to get, because they see that this is the route to go and this is what they need to do to be more competitive on the top level.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Dieter. Cohen, Dieter might mention about it, you might mention about it, how incredible our Craven Week teams are, both at under 13 level, under Grand Como, under 16 also, as well as at under 18 level. We've gone unbeaten, winning the competitions. Obviously, everybody wants a fair opportunity, a fair shot to be able to make the sides. This is where the selectors, the trials, and all these things play a pivotal role in getting the best teams. Can you take us through those selection processes and the criterias? What are these selectors looking for, of course, in a player to fill that 23 voided spots?
Okay, thanks for the question. I think what we're very blessed with in the Western Cape is also our selectors are seasoned. They've been coaches, then they've migrated from coaches into selectors. So, and they've been with it for quite a number of years. And you know, you can't buy experience. You have to actually do the slog to get as good as you are becoming a selector. So our selection process has 4 phases. In phase 1, I earlier mentioned to you how the breakdown of schools work in the Western Cape. So in phase 1, we have A1, A2, A3, A4 schools together with the VUCA schools. So those are all your small schools. Schools with 1 team, maybe 2 teams, maybe 3 teams, a maximum of 5 teams from A1 to A4, sorry, to A3. Then out of that pool, we invite school players, and teachers at those schools get to nominate players. The only requisite is that they can only nominate 4, for obvious reasons. So a school can't nominate 10 players to come to the trials. Then we will have a challenge.
Yeah.
So they nominate 4. That massive pool of players, then we take at the first round, we take them through a skill session just to filter them. So together with the help from the Western Province High Performance Department, Mr. Wilfred Kibedo, Jerome Pawata, they will be there next to the field. Then we do what we call a skill session. So we look at the very basics. Can the hooker throw in straight? Yeah. Can the fly off pass left and right? Can the scrum off pass left and right? Can the fullback kick? We look at the very basics. The props, can they scrum? What is their technique like? What is their foot placement like? Then from that skill session, we crunch numbers to a smaller group, and then we take the smaller group through 3 practice sessions to get ready for the trials. Now, you would know that the big difference between schools, smaller schools, and the big schools is that the big schools program starts very early in January, in actual fact, at the end of the previous year. Whereas with our schools, I would call it our township schools. In the beginning of the year, it's athletics. Nobody thinks about rugby. I'm the principal of a small school myself. Nobody talks about rugby. They watch the Stormers, and that's where it ends. But it is athletics. And athletics basically takes up the whole of March. So when these learners come to trials, they at a serious disadvantage because the other groups are conditioned already, have been practiced for a month, and so on and so on. So our system is geared to give them a bit of an edge to be ready for the first round of trials. So after that skill session, crunch numbers, then we select 2 teams. They then compete with the Premier B group of players. So those are the schools with more than 10 teams, 10 and 15 teams. Out of that second round of trials, we pick a team. They then join the 3rd phase. And in the 3rd phase, whoever made it in the 2nd phase, together with those that played last year in the Craven Week sides and the Academy Week sides, those with already provincial colours, we invite them back to the trials, together with all the nominations from the Premier A schools. Those schools with 10 and up to 25 teams. Nominate them, that's round 3. And then after that round, and we do a filtration there, then we end up in the final round with trials against Boland also.
Yeah.
We take normally as 3+, and then we filter it down to about 3 teams. We forgot also to mention the way the national competition is structured is that whoever wins are allowed to bring an additional team. So because Western Province has been winning the Craven Week for 6 years in a row, we've always had an additional team. Now that is a massive opportunity. It's additional opportunity. And all the teams is, our transformation target is 23-11. All the teams are made up, 23 black, 12, 11. 12 black, 11 white players. So the opportunities is just immense. And then once you get to the provincial, to the national tournament, where all the scouts are. And then at the national tournaments, obviously the scout is not just South African, it's from all over the world.
Yeah, we saw that now with the two Uber booties going to Japan straight out of school.
Yeah.
Straight out of school. It happened many years ago too. But yeah, so the pathway is there. The system, the way I just explained it to you, is there. The system has proven to deliver results because we've been winning the past 18 games in a row. So our selection process is pretty airtight. We are also very, and I actually neglected to mention this, the support from WP, from our home union, is another key ingredient of our success, because we have the backing, we have, I'm a full-time principal. My attention is at academics, my learners are struggling, and so is it for many others. And you need an administrative support. So even though I'm the chairperson of the Western Province High School, we use the infrastructure of the union. When we communicate through the union to the different schools. The database of all our schools don't sit with me in my school on my laptop, it sits here at the union. So the union together with us, that mutual symbiotic relationship is working perfectly for us over the past, how many years, the history speaks for itself. So the union, absolutely, we won't be able to do this without the backing of Western Province Rugby Football Union.
Yeah, decades of success.
Decades of success.
Yeah, at the Western Province Rugby Union. And Dieter, it's so crucial, that that the system works. I mean, what advice would you have for any particular boy, whether it be under 13 or, wanting to play Grand Como or Craven Week, putting on that, that iconic blue and white hoops? What would your advice be to the players that are, wanting to play for Western Province and wanting to get to the next level?
Look, I think every young boy that's playing rugby would want to play Western Province and further up. Unfortunately, only so many can play. So it all starts with your discipline, and it all starts with your passion for rugby, and what you put in. It is difficult. Kerwin has mentioned a few things that I bring up. It is difficult for our schools in the townships because you have one coach that needs to coach 3 or 2 teams alone at times, and have to be competitive. So for players in that area, you would want to say, sport can become an out for you. It can become something that you can, take you out of your circumstances.
Change your story.
It can change your story. And we've seen it with so many sports stars. We've seen it. So that is what we want to do for our kids first and foremost in the townships, is to give them that just little, hubs to it, into trying to get them to play the game at least. The rest will follow. And especially now that things have changed in our country in such a way that I know there's still a lot of people that think that rugby is a white man's sport. That has changed. You go look on the field, the playing field. If you have discipline, you got skill, you got talent, and you work hard, and you want something and you work for it, then it's achievable. You can get it. It is there for you. So for young players, I would want to say is that stay true to yourself first and foremost. Make sure you work hard, not only on the rugby field, but your academics too. Because unfortunate is that if you're not seen by your premier schools, if they're not buying into you, or you don't get into a varsity cup team, or you don't get into academy team, playing top rugby, you're either going to end up playing for a club. And I'm not sure if Western Province is still looking at club players as much as they are looking at as the top schools, for example, and varsity cup and academies to take the kids to the next level. So yeah, I would want them to make sure that they stay in school, make sure that they work hard, both in academics and their rugby. Just work hard and stay disciplined.
Yeah, just work hard is the word from Dieter.
Definitely.
Gentlemen, it's been a privilege to have you on here. Thank you for your time. I have to conclude obviously with a message from the both of you, obviously for the faithful tuning in. the school where you are headmaster at, probably they will also be wanting to check out what Sir said. Any message from your side, Kerwin, before we sign off, just for the faithful, for the loyal Western Province Rugby Union supporter, and to the hopeful young boy who might want to play Craven Week, Grand Como or under 13 Craven Week?
So I've been involved in this game, sure, for more than 20 years. I've served on the executive for more than 20 years. I've had a lot of provincial players coming through my hands. And the one thing that is glaringly evident for everybody to see is that hard work beats talent if talent don't work hard. I mean, we've heard that saying, but it is so true, because I've seen talented players that never made it. They never made it beyond the SA under 18 team. That's where they ended, and they literally disappeared after that. You got to, because it is like life. Life is not fair. You get setbacks, but all that matters is how you recover. And because we are also in the business of education, we are teachers. So those lessons are constantly taught to Western Province players. When we train, when we have camps, we build their character. Because ultimately we want productive citizens in our society that will sell this message of the Rainbow Nation, that we can live in harmony together and be a successful nation.
Hallelujah. From your side, closing message?
Listen, I always, when I speak to the boys, when I make a speech for the under 12s and under 13s, I always tell them the story of a boy that ended up in our in 2015 under 13 B team, and he was player number 22. Back then we didn't have a 23. He was player number 22. That same boy ended up as a young man becoming one of the youngest Springboks after he was almost not selected into Western Province B team. He didn't make the Craven Week team. Ken Moody. I always use that example as perseverance. If you want something in life, nobody's going to come to you and just give you stuff. You need to want it, and you need to go and get it and work hard for it. There's no golden pot at the end of a rainbow for a person if you don't want to climb that rainbow and get over it, or climb over that hill by yourself and with the help of people. So I just want to say, and I want to reiterate what Kerwin is saying, is that make sure that keep our nation, keep whatever we've done so far for the past, from the 80s, from the 70s up to the 80s, into the 90s, after amalgamation, and we've tried very hard to try and get things going in this country. There's still hope. There is hope. I don't believe it's just doom and gloom. We
Definitely.
And sport has shown how many times that it can bring people together. Why not start at a younger age and bring these kids and seeing them through, and also wanting them to come back and paying back. That's the other thing I want to say is, especially the ones in the township, once you've made it, you have to pay back. You need to go back and inspire the others, to show them
very
what they can reach. It is possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Wie is die Daisa? Hier so in die reënboognasie. Dit is die call van die twee manne wat saam met my op die huidige oomblik sit. Baie dankie Kerwin Grove, baie dankie Tite vir julle manne se tyd en vir julle inspirerende woorde. Ek glo dat dit sal uitgaan en dit sal die nasie bereik, and it will find the ears, of those who need to hear this message. We look forward to seeing our Craven Week under 13 side go again this year, as well as that Grand Como and that Craven Week side. Always a proper team to look out for when it comes to those weeks. So gentlemen, all of the best with the task at hand, the job that you guys have to do, and in your day-to-day task as well. May you find favor and may you just experience grace there wherever you go. Those were the two men here, of course, from our primary and high school chairpersons from the chairs, and we're gonna be going ahead and going forward into the show. We have, of course, the teams from Primrose and Village here, and we've got two of their representatives who will be talking up a storm. We'll be right back with that segment. Hi, my name is Lucian Kibru, and I'm the podcast host of WP Jou Lekker Ding. Remember to tune in every single Friday night, 7 p.m. And that is obviously on all your channels. Western Province Rugby Union. Don't be late. God bless. Ons is hier so by Nieuweland vir die WP Club Rugby. Is 'n groot meeting wat hier agter ons op die huidige oomblik aangaan. Ek het vir Everal Philly saam met my natuurlik van Stel in Stellenbosch. Baie dinge wat op die huidige oomblik daar so gebeur. Sy is een van die afrigters wat help om die skip hier in die regte pad in te stuur. Aan die Everal, gesels bietjie saam met ons. Hoe gaan dit saam met jou? As jy wel, gaan die berigte nog goed? Lekker om jou vanaand hier so saam met ons te hê.
Dit gaan baie goed saam met my. Ek skryf nog steeds en ek is nog steeds betrokke by Van Stel van onder 20 af tot die eerste span.
Ja, aan die Everal natuurlik baie dinge wat op die huidige oomblik daar so gebeur. Die uitslae wat ook hier regtig ten gunste is van Stel op die huidige oomblik. Wat sal jou boodskap wees aan die WP ondersteuners wat graag sal wil weet, jy weet, wat is die probleem, wat gaan aan? Ja, wat sal die Everal sê?
Die probleem weet jy is dat ons speel op die oomblik met 120 spelers van verlede jaar. Al die 55 senior players wat gekontrakteer was verlede jaar. Speel of in Boland by Vrouwen by Safpol, of hulle is almal terug na hulle ou klubs soos Kraaifontein en Scottsdene. So ons moet bou nou weer van voor af. So ek sê, hulle moet nie na die skool kyk nie, want ons wag tot by die IPL klas dat David Miller en Richard Pan vir my kom, ja, vir my lopies af te slaan.
Ja, daar word Everal Philly, jy sê julle moet lopies afslaan, maar natuurlik julle het nog steeds 'n hoopvolle toekoms daar so by Van Stel. Dit is as jy daar asof die deure toegemaak is en julle gaan nog rugby speel.
Yes man, my beding is net, ons kan nie verder val as Superliga B nie, en daar's ander spanne wat sukkel om tot hoë Superliga B te kom. Dit is ons tweede jaar daar, en as jy dink waarvoor dan nog eens kom, die klub is in 2017 gestig, en van 2019 tot 2022 was ons in die zones, en toe klim ons om elke jaar, dat ons nou in Superliga A geland het verlede jaar, en ons is nog steeds in Superliga A. En almal het gedink, hierdie jaar gaan ons nou iets ekstra doen, want ons het 7de geëindig op die punteteller, niemand het vir ons 'n kans gegee om onder die top 10 te land nie, ons gaan drop. Maar ons is nog steeds daar, so ek is baie positief, want op die oomblik kry ons nou spelers van Boland om vir ons te help, want op die oomblik begin ons met 12 mense per span, en dit is mos nou die ideaal nie. Jy kan mos nou nie verwag om onderwerk op die veld te doen en so aan. Maar ek moet sê die WP ondersteun my, en die skeieregters ondersteun my, en ek aanvaar alle hulp.
Ja, en ek is seker hulp is nog steeds op pad van Stel se kant toe, Everal van Antie se kant af, net 'n boodskap, jy weet, vir die faithful, kan ek sê, vir die trotse van Stel ondersteuner, vir al die WP ondersteuners van julle kant af.
Onthou die meeste van die se spelers kom van die plase in en om Stellenbosch, nie? En die kinders speel al daar van junior daar, so die ouers kom, die oupas en die oumas kom, want baie van hulle is ouma en enkel ouers se kinders. So ek is baie bly dat hulle nog steeds vir ons ondersteun. Al gaan dit nie goed nie, maar hulle is daar. Is daar.
Daar hoor julle, ons is hier so by Nieuweland, Everal Philly afrigter daar so by Van Stel, Stolwood daar by Van Stel. Hulle sê hulle gaan nie gaan lê nie. Hulle gaan aanhou veg tot aan die bitter einde toe. Baie dankie vir Everal se tyd.
Dankie.
Skakel weer in.
Ek is Archie Johnson, president van Fransoek Rugby Club. Ek is hier vader van Ashley Johnson, Springbok, wat heiliglik oorsee is, wat bewas meer as 200 games gespeel het. Dit is rugby is in ons bloed. Ek het 2 seuns en hy het 2 jaar WP gespeel, 2 jaar is as skole en Kruiwenweeg gespeel. En hy onder 20, onder 19 vir die jong bokkies gespeel en vir die Springbokke.
Dames en here, ek is hier so saam met Archie Johnson, natuurlik van Fransoek Rugby Club, hier so by Nieuweland, waar al die clubs bymekaar kom om lekker te vergader en klub rugby sake te gesels. Archie, op die huidige oomblik, Fransoek in die Superliga aan, doen op die huidige oomblik baie goed, net die naweek verloor, daar so teen Primrose, weg van die huis af. Wat maak Archie tot dusver van die trotse Fransoek Rugby Club?
Fransoek is 'n rugbygemeenskap. Daar is nog 2 ander klubs wat in Boland speel. Dit is die eerste jaar in die Superliga A en ons vind ons voete en dit is wat ons verwag het. Ons betaal geensins enige spelers nie, want dit is 'n onding. So die ouens wat almal daar is, die spelers, is almal plaaslik. Ons het geen spelers van buite plekke wat ingekom het nie.
Ja, Ankaatjie, trotse rugbygemeenskap Franshoek. Is 'n klub wat nou al lank veg om in die Superliga A te speel. Hulle het vir coach PDV ingebring, voormalige Springbok afrigter. Wat sê Ankaatjie, hoe lyk die kanse om te bly in die Superliga A vir 2027?
Vir 2027, ons wat alles in ons vermoë doen. Dus Pieter de Villiers, hy doen reuse werk daar. Hy het nog 2 mense saamgebring wat van help. En dit is huidiglik is ons op 'n baie hoë standaard. En ons kry baie ondersteuning van Pieter en asook van die gemeenskap kry ons.
Ja, Ankaatjie, as daar dalk 'n boodskap as die president van Franshoek Rugby Club vir die loyale Franshoek ondersteuner, sowel as die vyfvolk van die Westelike provinsie.
Ja, ek wil graag vir ons toeskouers en die hele gemeenskap van Franshoek baie dankie sê vir julle ondersteuning, dat julle vir ons jaar na jaar ondersteun het en ons het die toppunt bereik deur in die topliga van WP te speel. Baie dankie van my kant af wil ek vir julle. Ek waardeer dit wat julle doen, want ons gaan partykeers gaan oor, hulle het 'n paar busse, hulle maak hulle eie kombies op en gaan 3 tot 8 kombies om ons wedstryde te gaan kyk. Dit maak nie saak waar hulle gaan. Baie dankie.
Daar het julle Archie Johnson, president van Franshoek Rugby Club. Ons bly ingeskakel en ons hou jou aan die raai. Dit is WP Jou Lekker Ding. Welcome back to WP Jou Lekker Ding. That was a proper chat, but now we are going into even deeper things. We're going into the deeper things, and I'm talking about the deep things. It's Villager Rugby Club and of course Primrose Rugby Club. They're playing a proper rugby fixture this weekend. They said it's not a derby match, it's a celebration. On this evening's podcast, I've got Waleed Brown and Anton Kuzner, and they are going to be talking to me on the derby this evening. Anton, good to have you here. Always full of love, always full of jokes. Waleed, good to have you in the mix as well. Gentlemen, are you guys doing well?
Yeah, great.
Excellent, glad to be here.
Yeah, Anton, I think we can start with you. Obviously, Villager now being the prominent rugby club in Western Province Rugby Union, amongst the club's top club last year in the Super A, going also to represent the province in the final of the Gold Cup. You guys must be feeling good at the moment. The club is in a good space, and you yourself is looking like you are in a fantastic space.
Oh, well, I mean, it's what we look like ducks on water, you know. Unfortunately, it's one of those again. Well, we're club champions this year. Now we've got to try and defend it.
Yeah.
It's a tough season ahead. Super League A is best competition in the country, and I mean when you have quality opposition like we saw on the weekend, you know, came unstuck against a very good varsity team last week. You know, so champions mean nothing now. It's a brand new season, and we got to act like we got to get there. You know, but we're thrilled to be playing our neighbours this weekend for the first time in 8 years.
Yeah, very unexpected defeat going down to UCT last week. Obviously, you guys, you look like you're in proper shape. You had a good pre-season. Looked like you were going to be unstoppable again. And it just shows the game in the Western Province Rugby. You know, you can't take any match for granted.
No, absolutely. You know, when you're playing against a varsity cup side that's been playing for 10 games and is excellently coached, you know, you make a mistake, they're going to punish you. And that's what we did. We made too many mistakes, and I think our discipline let us down. And I mean, our coach Andy let the Oaks have it this week, and you know, the guys are going to be up for it for Saturday, and we're going to put on the best show that we can against our neighbours.
When you hear that, Waleed, obviously Primrose new boys in the Super League A in 2026. Last time you played in the Super League A, I think it was 2018, just before that COVID year. I remember still playing against Primrose that year, last year in the Super A. How are you guys feeling for this weekend? I mean, Villagers Rugby Club, massive team, big squad, big players, big name players. You guys, the new boys now in the competition. You feeling up for the challenge this weekend?
Look, what can I say? We're very excited. I mean, the champions are coming to Rosme this weekend. I mean, it doesn't get bigger than that. Not only the champions, our neighbours. Last year, we were also the champions, but in a lower league. So this year, it's a learning curve for us. It's been 8 years since we've been in the Super League A. So every week, I can see there is improvement in our team. But we still got a long way to go. It's clear that our team is still finding their feet. So this weekend it's all about just being a privilege for us, playing the champions, giving a good account of ourselves on our own ground. And yeah, I mean, we're excited with the new boys, but we can assure you we're not going to just fill up the fixture on Saturday. We're there to compete with villages. And, you know, hopefully get one over them. You never know. There are a few clubs in the country that are older than Primrose, and this is one of the villages. They're 150 years, I think, and we're 130 years this year. So two of the oldest clubs in the country. We haven't played a lot of fixtures over the years because we've often been in lower leagues. So this is a rare opportunity, and everyone should come to Rosemead on Saturday. That's where it's going to happen.
Yeah, that is the call. Come to Rosemead on Saturday. Of course, you guys came away with a proper victory over Franschhoek over the weekend. Another spectacular match going into deep waters there. The challenge that is lying ahead of you, obviously, Franschhoek is a new team as well. Came up with you guys to the Super A. Villager has now proven their words, stalwarts, in the Super League A. This challenge, a little bit different. How have you guys been preparing for this one, and what can we expect of that Primrose rugby side on Saturday?
Look, the Saturday past against Franschhoek, I think we didn't give a good account of ourselves. We played very well in the first half. We should have dominated the game, but we allowed the opposition to come back, and at the end we were lucky actually to hold on to that victory. So I think we expect a better performance. The last time we actually played Villagers was when we just came up from the Super League C. We played them in a friendly, and we gave a good account of ourselves. And of course, in the second half, their dominance came through in the scrum and the line-out. And we're hoping that this weekend we can put a better performance on. But it was after that performance that our coach, Ricky Peterson, looked at the squad and said, listen, after that performance, I'm going to tell you now you guys are going to win the Super League B. And I was like, what is this coach talking about? And we did that season. And he said it was all about gauging yourself against the best. He said it was clear to him that time that the Villagers were going to do very well in the Super League A. And if we can gauge ourselves against them, that's where we measure how far we come. So it'll be interesting this Saturday to see how far we've come from improving to get to their level. I don't think we're quite there yet. We've got a couple of tricks up our sleeves. I think we should have enough to compete with them. And with a little of luck, we may get one over them, but they will definitely start out as favourites on Saturday, being the champions and all. And for us, it'll just be a privilege to play them on the same field.
It's going to be a fantastic fixture, Anton. We spoke about it before we came live here. We spoke about before and during COVID, 2 weeks prior, Villagers' doors closing. They gave you a phone call, told you, Anton, hey, you have to come in, you have to come and fix the club. And what a remarkable journey it has been. I mean, 7 years has passed through now. You've been involved. You've totally made a turnaround in the club. Talk to us through that journey, leading up to another big fixture on Saturday. We know that every next game is the next big game that you want to win. But talk to us through that transition, you coming into Villager, not much happening. The ground is breaking apart. Everything is looks like it's going to close down, and boom, you come in and being the fixer, coming in and changing the whole thing around, and now we're standing in front of another big game, and Villagers is the favourites.
Look, it's obviously everything is a team effort. I mean, when what I say to most people is that if you can lead, people will actually be able to do what you ask of them. People are very malleable if you can actually understand people well enough to say, right, this is what we need, this is how we're going to do it, and they just went and did it. We have a very small committee. I think we're 8 people, where some of our other established clubs are 16 to 20 guys on the committee over the years. So we started literally with very little, and ultimately what we did is we took this approach that it's a rugby club. We don't do anything more there than just play club rugby. So that was our first thing, and then we needed to bring back the culture. The spirit had died in that rugby club. And, when we interviewed we were so written off when we interviewed, we had 3 coaches apply for the head position, 3 head coaches. And we went with a guy that was an assistant coach, Andy Kutsia. And when we sat down, and he just had a plan. And I mean, that was what I needed from our head coach, because we don't micromanage our team. We let our rugby staff do what rugby staff do. Our committee has nothing to do with selections, has nothing to do with anything that happens on the pitch. That is what we hire professionals for. So we took that stance that, okay, we're going to hire professionals. We can't do much with this year because we've got to try and make this club self-sustainable. But the nice thing is that I had a cushion, Colin Shapiro, who is an amazing benefactor to the two villages and a long-term villages member, said to me, listen, we will help you, we will give you the support that you need to help you keep this place going. And ultimately, that's what we did. We cleaned out the committee. I mean, Piet Geldenhuys was there as the president. So, he was like, Anton, go for it. Go do what you want. I mean, we did stuff on that field that, I mean, would literally pull your hair out to try and get it. Oh, but tell you, the grey hairs in my beard come from Villages Rugby Club. Happy our jersey. But from what we did, we just said, right, let's make this thing self-sustainable. And I mean, I sat down with the Western Province executive, and the new president is very positive of what we're trying to achieve there. And when you get that buy-in, fantastic. But the club was crippled with debt, bad administration, and that just shows you what happens. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, if whatever club it is, whatever you might think of a club, that it's this big ivory tower, 99% of them fall and crash. Because it doesn't matter what demographic you come from, bad management is bad management. And that's what happened at Villages. It was just, over the years, it just fell to pieces due to bad management. So we tightened that up, and we said to our rugby players, guys, you're not products anymore, you are players. We look at you as individuals. And, obviously we remunerate some of our players. And, what we said to them is, we have a little bit here and a little bit there, but some guy needs to feed his family with that. And the player body understood that. When you open and transparent for them and say, look, we've got X amount of money that we've got to invest. This is how we're going to invest it. And the guys bought in with it. I said, look, we can go up to other clubs and earn huge amounts of money. And it's the likes of Hammies and Durbel. And the guys can make big match fees and so on. But they said, we believe in what you're trying to do here. And, that's the first thing. Get the buy-in from your player body. And then I've got an amazing coaching team. I mean, they've been with me for 3 years. Andy Kutsia, SB Blakely, and Andy Norman. That's what we had. 3 coaches, in the first year. Now I've got 7. And then we brought in, we find talent where it's just been, stone has been unturned,
Yeah.
So last year we got a guy from Unimall called Ben Fenter. I mean, we said we needed polish in our back.
I see Ben went up to the Pumas.
That's
what you want.
About. I would have loved to have kept Ben. But, the one thing is that, like Ali said, we need polish. And I said, fine. And then when we found out that Ben was looking, well, do what you can to get Ben Fenter here. And he didn't, polish is, this I taught guys that were finesse, how to have blunt force trauma. This turned these guys into hammers last year. They just hammered everybody. So, and that's the best thing about what our coaching team has. They allowed the individual to coach.
Yeah.
And he's big on that. He says, look, I don't know everything. So we all got many heads. We'll sit and talk and a little kringetki and carry on. But he just said, look, I was never a forward. I know what, I understand it, but let bring in these guys that can help us move the club forward. And that's the open mindedness we looked at. And, it just makes a huge difference. The people want to be there and they get treated with respect and they don't get micromanaged. And my job is to literally help them achieve their goals. If I have to change toilet paper, I do it. And I get find out there's no toilet paper in the change room. I got to go change toilet paper. It's just how we work in the club. So everybody rolls up their sleeves and puts 150% in. And that's why we were so successful last year. And I'm sure we're going to be so successful this year again. But I mean, that's the type of people that we look for. It's the right type of person that fits in our club. We had loads of provincial players that wanted to come to our club. Obviously, winning the championship. Just like, this isn't the right guy for us. Because we want the individuals who can go. I mean, our scrum up Rosie. Where's his number 1 with a pink dress? Because he's an individual. But we just allow it because what am I going to do? Tell the oak to wear khaki pants and a
korsel and boots.
So, and that's just an example of some of the individuals we have, and we let them be individuals. And it's so great to see that. I mean, like Thomas Meyer, who won Players Player of the Year, which he's the best Western Province player in the league, in the amateur division. I mean, he got asked to go up to the URC training squad. He said, no, I want to play at Villages. You know, it's amazing. It's amazing. That's the feather in the cap that we want I mean, I would even say we educators. Administrators at rugby clubs are basically educators. They're there to instill whatever we can to help these young men grow. You know, to watch Thomas Mayer literally just evolve into this guy that he is it's just wonderful to see. So we care deeply about our players, and that's what we're there for. And then, like, we didn't lose 4 players to leaving the club. They went to provincial honours. 2 went to SWD, 1 went to the Leopards, and another one's with the Lions. You know, so it's like we're doing something right. So we're thrilled where we are at the moment. It's not thrilled the result from last week. That stung.
Yeah, obviously losing a couple of players and now gaining a few more. The culture definitely proving its worth there by you guys at the moment at Villager. Anton doing a fantastic job. Walid, both you, Primrose, as well as Villager, rich in history, 150, 130 years. Talk to us, you know, the faithful, the Western Province Rugby Union support, you know, the history on the clubs, the players that came through your clubs, and what makes this match between the two of you two down the road from one another so important.
Look, a long part of Primrose history. We were not in the same league as Villages. During apartheid, we were not allowed to play the Villages, but a lot of our former members would have gone to support them. They come from Claremont. They used to go watch Villages. Since unification, we've been in a lower league, so it's been rare that we've been actually play them on the rugby field. So this is a rare occasion. So we've got a long history. As I said, we go back 130 years. This year it's 130 years, which makes us one of the oldest clubs in the history. In the 70s and the 80s, the Primrose teams were very successful in the city and suburban leagues, competing against Western Province and Tigerbird. Since unification, it's been difficult to stay in the top league, the Super League A. Being a community club, resources, putting it in, it's expensive to run a club. As Anton has mentioned, the amount of effort that we have to put in, fundraising, getting sponsorship on board, it's not easy. We've got a large youth division, obviously from 7 right through to 13 in the primary school and up to under 18 in the high school. After COVID, we only had 1 team per division. We've been slowly trying to build that, getting 2 teams, 3 teams in some instance per age group. As that improves, it improves our senior squad as well. And over the years, there's been a number of players that have come through our youth division that have achieved higher honors. I've mentioned earlier of Lizam Khan's currently still playing at the Boomers, played in our youth division for many years before moving on to high school and to UCT. Zane Davids that still plays for the Blitzbokker. Our deputy mayor, as I mentioned, we actually turned him into a front rower. He came there wanting to be a number 8, if you can believe it. And we says, no way, this man is a front rower. Played there for a number of years. And he still frequents the games often. Eddie, a very good supporter of us, and you know, helps us a lot in trying to keep Rosby going. The field, you know, maintenance and stuff like that. So, you know, it's as Anton says, it's collective effort always. Many hands to keep the club scene going, and we only keep it going through our passion, our passionate supporters, our fans and stuff. Dig into their pockets and help, manpower, financial resources. That's how you keep the clubs going.
Definitely. From your side, Anton, obviously rich in history, 150 years oldest club. I believe, not, is it second oldest?
Well, it's debatable. With our great rivals up the road there, Sipho, Hamilton's, but yeah, we are the second oldest. I mean, I think it's in June that we turn 150. I mean, I think most of our old members are still fighting the hangover from 2 weeks ago from 150th gala, which was amazing.
Yeah,
we had the likes of the mayor was there, the deputy mayor was there, which was lovely. But like I said in my speech, only props can govern. And yeah, we had like I said, Morne de Villiers was our keynote speaker. We had we had a huge turnout. I mean, we didn't even think we would get 100 people, and then all of a sudden, you know, we've got an oversubscription. We had 350 people there, so it was on the field. It was
brilliant,
magnificent evening. Just a great rugby evening. People talking about their yesterdays. I mean, that's what it was for. I think, yeah, the guys are really still struggling with their hangover. But yeah, when they went well into the night, the neighbours are complaining. But, you know, for an illustrious club like Villages, you know, to bring them through to 150 from where it was, you know, what an honour.
Yeah.
You know, it's a privilege for us as a committee to move it forward into the 150th year. And long may, you know, when we are no longer at the club, my wife eventually pulls me out of there. We just had a baby, so she's already like saying, "Oh, you're spending too much time at this rugby club." But I mean, you know, and that's the thing is now we got to look for the next bunch of administrators to come through, and you know, and that's how the circle goes. So it's been an amazing journey. I mean, but 150 years is unprecedented for anything.
To survive, yeah.
Look at clubs in the UK, and in France, and they're all closing down. Looking at teams like Wasps and so on, these major teams are all just disappearing into nothingness. So, you know, for South Africa, we got to take our hats off. You know, we know how to hustle and get things done in this country. So, you know, it's. I mean, you're looking at Villages, you're looking at Primrose 135, Marty's turned 150 last year. You know, so it's onwards and upwards for us, I think, and I hope shortly that we start really commercializing this league for what it is. Because this league is special.
Yeah.
It really is.
One of the toughest leagues by far.
But it's just special. I mean, if you think about the teams that you play against and the amount of support. I mean, I could tell you now, if we had a Tigerberg SK game and we could put it Newlands, we'd fill Newlands. It's crazy. The Oaks love it. It's like, I mean, even at Primrose playing.
I think you should speak to the stadium here behind you. Yeah, Newlands.
Unfortunately, is no longer available. But I mean, it's just we would be able to fill stadiums. You know, that's kind of how it is. And I just hope one day that a big company or establishment will go and say, right, it's time to set up some more rugby seats in South Africa, because at the moment we've got a few unions, and then we've got about 100 and how many clubs have we got in the Western Cape? 120 odd.
I mean, if you look at the finals that were played last year at Central Park and the amount of support that was there, I mean, that's what we're talking about. I mean, if we can have proper facilities for that, more games on that level, I mean, that's what we're talking about. I mean, there's lots of interest in these games. I mean,
that in a weekend, it means so much to our community. That's Saturday in winter when things are so tough. And I mean, it's tough out there. We all know it. But this, I mean, in winter, they drag them. The spectators drag themselves. Not much mine are but precious. They want to be under the ramparts and under shelter. But a lot of the supporters will come out in their drives in the rain and in the sleet. We don't get that much snow in Cape Town, but I mean, the hail's pretty horrible in thicker winter. But you know, it's just so meaningful to everybody. And I mean, just think about it: the top 10, 12 clubs. You know, we can monetize it and actually make that a proper league where we can actually start keeping our players in South Africa, opposed to selling to France and losing them for eternity to Scotland or to one of the
to the foreigners.
It's just that's my biggest gripe, is that we just don't have enough seats for talent. And you know, if we had our own separate league, I mean, it's like, can you imagine?
Yeah.
Then you
look, mind you, I don't mind losing players to France and Scotland. I mean, those are good leagues. But when our players start going to Romania and Georgia and these places, we should be keeping those players in the country.
Thank God I don't go to Australia.
Yeah, definitely. And we are speaking to, maybe there's somebody watching online. Who knows? We definitely want to grow, and obviously we want to grow the podcast, want to grow the streaming of Western Province Club Rugby. Get into contact with us, obviously, on VP Club Rugby. That is our Facebook page, and you can also go onto the website, check us out there and get the details. Get into contact with us, and we can take this thing further. Make sure that no talent goes slipping out the back door and stays here in the Western Province. Gentlemen, we spoke about the road to City Park. Obviously, last year it was big. It's going to be even bigger this year. Super League C fixtures this weekend already. It's getting week 4. The year is not... Time is not standing still. I'm just going to talk through a couple of fixtures. If you guys do see a fixture here that you guys think is a fixture that we can maybe have a chat about, this weekend, 2nd of May 2026, is going to be Calmore against Scots Dean. That will be in Calmore. Gardens are taking on Strand at home.
Calmore actually won last week, didn't they?
I think Calmore won, yes.
They're also a team that struggled for a couple of years, and they seem to be getting the act together. I mean, the community out there in Stellenbosch.
But yeah, it's Piniel, Kalmos, Stellenbosch, lots of talent, supporters there as well. People enjoy their rugby down there. That's Super League C. Rangers are taking on Rugby Universals.
Rangers have been doing very well. Unfortunately for them, it's not a promotion year. So they should be very well this year to stay in that league. But I mean,
Yeah,
well done to them. So I think they're unbeaten at the moment.
yeah, guys are gonna fight hard for those top 8 spots, and the higher spots obviously want to play in the knockouts as well. Delft are playing at home against Piniel Villages.
Piniel lost last week. They won against Watsonians.
Yeah, the one against Watson, I think by 1 point.
And I think that's Watsonians' first loss in a year.
Yeah.
So it was a good result for Piniel.
Good. Piniel always have been a good team. Watsonia are taking on Eerste Rivier. Salodians against Langa, and Strand United are playing against Atlantis. That is for the faithful. Super League B. I think you know a lot about the Super League B. Not you so much, maybe Anton.
I mean, I personally think the Super League B is going to be the toughest league. With this new format, it's going to be the toughest league too.
I must say, I'm glad Primrose is not in that league this year. There have been too many derby games. I mean, it was enough having to play Matthias one weekend collegiates. Now you got Violets also in.
Yeah.
It's too much stress.
Many derby games.
If that had to be at Rugby this weekend, 10,000 people there, we can't handle that. So
The Spa would make a lot of money.
but yeah, no, Super League B this year, very competitive as always. Top league. There's really been a number of tough fixtures.
Yeah, so in week 4, the fixtures will be Kraaifontein will be at home against Collegians. Makassar at home against Hamlets, the running team from Hamlet there.
A lot of traveling for Hamlets.
Yeah, Hands and Hearts at home to CPUT. Vineyards taking on Hamadias. That's also a derby game there. Going down in Paul. Violets.
But they're just doing well. I think they got a massive improved squad. Some players from Iske that have now gone back home to Paul. So they're playing some good rugby.
Yeah, and they've got a great fly-off there. One of my good mates, Wilfred Bowers, one of the most talented fly-offs I've seen coming through the ranks. Violets play NTK at home. All Saints.
That's a big one.
Violets against NTK.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, NTK will be looking obviously to show their class there in the Super League. Super League.
NTK is a team that hung on for years, staying in the Super League A.
They hanged on.
They were unlucky.
They weren't unlucky.
Those guys were.
so they obviously, I mean, it's a promotion this year, but they'll be looking to consolidate.
Yeah, definitely. They always finished on that 13th spot, and then they managed to survive. By playoffs. Always playing against it. All Saints against Goodwood, and Bella against Belleville. That is gonna be a big one there. Bella against Belleville. Yeah. Super League A fixtures this weekend, gentlemen. I'll finish with the Primrose against Villager game. Obviously, yeah, you guys' inset there. Helderberg at home to UWC. What do you?
Helderberg have been doing well.
Well, look, I mean, I think Helderberg are due.
Yeah.
I think they were the last game they played was, I think that was who they played, Durbel. Who they played this weekend?
Helderberg played.
The first weekend they won SK.
Yeah, they played SK in the first weekend.
They beat SK properly.
Yeah.
But also SK, like everybody gives me a bit of help for saying that SK were tired. But yeah,
after that
Saldana team, that Saldana game, 3 games or
5 days,
5 days, and then they come down. I mean, we were supposed to play them week 2. I think they were thanking their lucky stars because their guys were fatigued.
Yeah.
I mean, I could watch it. They are on the top side of that. Are excellently coached, and they punch well above their weight. I mean, you look at them. I think the last game they were playing Durbel, they were ahead at half time or 12-all, so they go. So it's just at the second half. Obviously, games are won in the second half. So but SK go. They got 100 miles an hour, and look, they are not to be especially at the track. We got
difficult to go there.
At the track, first game at home, so we're not taking that lightly at all. So it's
Yeah.
very.
Those 3 games in 5 days do make it tight, and you have to do some rotation and get guys in. But what do you guys say, Helderberg, UWC, Helderberg at home?
I think Helderberg will do it.
Yeah.
I mean, the lovely rugby club at Helderberg.
Yeah, lovely rugby club down there.
They covered us this year. But yeah, what a nice bunch of people there and to keep that place going. I mean, last year they were in relegation last year.
Yeah, after playing in the final
Yeah,
the previous year was.
So I mean, yeah, they've got a lot to prove. They've
Yeah.
got some good personalities.
Yeah, that just shows you the volatility of the Super League. I mean,
Yeah, it's crazy. You snip once and you lose 3 quick games, boom boom, and then you're sitting at relegation.
yeah. Next game up, SK Warmers are taking on Unimil. SK Warmers looking on the up. Unimil rebuilding phase at the moment, gentlemen.
Is this at all?
SK are down at the track.
I think they should have enough.
It's gonna be a good game, that one. Don't want to miss that one.
I think that's going to be the game to watch, actually, of the game you know, SK haven't picked up. Have they lost 2? I think haven't picked up a point yet.
Well, they still need to
They haven't picked up
make
a
an
point
account
yet. I think that's going to be and Unimil as well. So Unimil played Bay last week. I mean, a good showing from Unimil, rebuild. So SK isn't a rebuild. SK were good last year, got to the semi-finals. They were good, but I mean, also once again, it comes down to that pack. I think Saturday comes down to the packs in that second half.
forward.
Who's got that last bit, because SK will run you to pieces if your defensive line is nice and flat and you can look after them with that first half. That second half is when the pack tends to fade a bit. So that's where, because they just go at such a pace, so you can't play that pace. So
80 minutes.
80 minutes, yeah. So that'll be interesting. I don't know. Look, I'm gonna go with SK. My head says SK
SK.
for this week, yeah.
Okay, gentlemen. Next fixture, UCT taking on Franzoek, the new boys at the Green Mile. How do you see Franzoek traveling to the Green Mile?
I think UCT, after not making the semi-finals, they got a point to prove, to be honest. I could see that with the coach was there the other day. He's got that determination about him. Last year also in the league, they didn't give a good account of themselves, and I think they think they owe themselves one.
They did a number on us on Saturday, so we got turned over on Saturday. They're an excellent side here. Wesley Chetty has taken the reins from, I think he's the Prominent under-19 coach. And he was ex-Bishops last or the year before, he knows what he's doing. And I mean, they've got a lovely bunch of oaks there, but shook, they jaw.
Yeah.
That team punished us. Every little mistake we made, it punished us. I think Franschhoek, if they play the way that they played against us, and that wind as well at the Green Mile, that's also
Game of 2 halves,
21 points. If that wind is blowing, you need to score 21 points to 0 to
with the wind.
With the wind to be able to actually defend it. I mean, you watched the Varsity Cup.
Oh, yes.
I mean, when they played Marties.
That was one of the greatest games.
Never.
But Marties made good use of the wind that day.
And then there was another game where they were up like 70-something and they nearly lost, or they lost. I can't remember.
Just the turnaround in the second half.
I played a lot of games at the Green Mile because I was at UCT for a very long time, and that is the biggest factor, is that wind. And everybody thinks that Green Mile is green. There's no traction under that grass. It's just like mud. So make sure the boys from Frauds better wear their longer studs, because that is going to be a long day if you can't get traction against that pack.
Yeah, and then you have to look after the weather as well. It might be raining, and then it's going to be a different game. Yeah. What do you guys say, UCT?
Yeah.
UCT at home?
UCT by far, I think.
By far. This is a big one. Also, obviously, you guys are a big fixer, but this is a big one as well. False Bay taking on Hamilton.
Where's that going?
They're playing at False Bay.
Sure, difficult to bet against Hamilton. I don't know.
Look, we played them. We've looked preseason. We played them both in preseason. I know Bay is also. They say they're in a rebuild. They've got a young squad, young team, good side. I think it's very close. I think Hammy's by 10.
Hammy's by 10.
Yeah.
Against False Bay away. That's a big call. Let's see.
Hammy's has got that established pack they've had for a long time.
Yeah.
And that's where False Bay is struggling a little bit, is that their pack is just not where Bay would like it to be, I'm sure. But I mean, I saw them play when they in preseason. They demolished a few teams. I mean, they play quick and to the ball, and Robbie Freilink is there, a little linchpin there, the great oak as well. So it's like, you've got to. It just depends. Like the older statesmen have to hold that team together. If they manage to find that little bit of traction to hold together, they will be very competitive. I just think with that established pack, and I mean, they took the best club team in the Hammies took the best club team to like a point.
Yeah, at the Saldanha Easter Festival.
So Hammies are properly good as well. So
It's gonna be
It's
good.
by
Man.
10.
Amy by 10.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a good one. And then before we go to your game, second last one, Funestel at the moment struggling. They are at home against Tigerberg.
Tigerberg's got this. Tigerberg can look at his team as well. I mean,
Tigerberg will give them. They don't give them
unbeaten so
50.
far.
They don't give them more than 50. Tigerberg haven't done a good job.
You say that the Funestel is at the moment, they are there.
Yeah, I wonder what's
You know.
happening over there, but they seem to.
We all know what's happening at Thunderstel. That's not. That's not. Let's not sugarcoat this. That's just a classic case of things just gone wrong, unfortunately. But you know, I mean, I love Avril to pieces.
So
I really do. But yeah,
I think we should get maybe one of them in on the next podcast just to find out, you know, what's happening there.
look. I mean, to take 100 points.
111 for you.
I mean, all their teams. It's
All three teams taking
I
100.
mean, it's not even a.
As I spoke to my one friend, he said he played third team, second and first team. They have a problem. I think he said he played second and third, but he played almost all the games.
They can be competitive because they were competitive last year. I just hope they can be competitive, but at this stage, it just looks like they are unfortunately going to be the number one to go down at this stage, taking those scores.
Those hidings, yeah. They're gonna need some help there, you can say. Funestel against Tigerberg, and I'm thinking you gentlemen are saying Tigerberg. And then the last one for the weekend in the Super League A, it's gonna be Primrose against Villager. Gentlemen,
You first. You first.
talk to us about this one.
It's going to be tough.
What is going to be the key factors to
Look,
victory?
I think definitely up front. If we can obtain some form of parity, and we can let our backline loose and our flank control the game, we stand a chance. If we get rolled over in the scrum, that's
Scrum penalties all time, kicking to tats, ball
so
there.
the last 2 seasons, the scrum has been a mainstay of our game. So far in the Super League A, we haven't been pushed over, but we also haven't been able to obtain dominance. So I think that is something we work on, because a lot of our game does revolve around that. So I think that's going to be a key battle. But also there's also the Rosbud factor. I mean, teams come there, they think they're on the up. The second half, they find a different story. The crowd gets going. That wind comes up, gets a bit cold. The ball gets a bit slippery. Anything can happen at Rosby, especially as it gets closer to the sunset time. Magical things start happening with it. So
You have to stay in the game until
I
then.
wouldn't say that. I'll say that they definitely favors, but I think we can pull off a surprise.
Look, there's magical things called a jacket and group tech with a rain and with a calm. But I mean, yeah, look, we are not taking this lying down. I mean, Primrose, we call them our plucky little neighbors for a reason, because they're not there because they will come for us, and they're not going to stand back. And we're coming with our best. So, you know, I mean, if we didn't have respect Primrose, we would have come with a second tee, you know, like what we would do. We will go at this stage of would go to Thunderstel with a weekend side, for example.
Resting a few gentlemen, but not this
I
week.
mean, you rotate your squad, you know, because I mean, ultimately, but we're not. We're coming with our best, and the Oaks are hurting from Saturday. I actually feel sorry for Primrose. Our pack of forwards are. I think they're bleeding through their eyes. They're so angry at themselves for this weekend. So, but I mean, don't get me wrong. We will stick to our DNA. We will play the games the way that our head coach wants us to play, you know, and that is a brutal, blunt force trauma up front. Great tight. We're going to be we'll be tight in our tight phases. Our set piece will be tight. Lineouts will be tight. We've got a couple of chop and changes in the back line because we have a couple of guys weren't available. So our back line will be settled, and we've got some rapid pace. Taban Gabriel's is back up in the mix, which is great from a long-term injury.
That's great to hear.
So he was our top try scorer last year. So it's not going to get any easier and we've got, and like you said before, we've got a massive squad. I mean, we've designed, it's by design. If we want to win the league, please God, and be able to go and go to Gold Cup, we need 52 rugby players.
Yeah.
And you know, because we've got 75. So what do we do with all? So it's an amazing thing to have. But you know, obviously it's a management thing and so on.
Yeah.
We are coming with our best to Rosmead on Saturday. And we are gonna give it. We're gonna give it all. So you know, that's kind of where I can leave it. not going to give a score prediction because I want to get nice catering at the end of it. Good tapa, good toast there, and they've shoved it down my throat last year. But I mean, just coming back to the best thing about the two clubs is last year, I don't know if anybody knows that, but in the final, we was due to play the final at 5 o'clock. And we kind of said, you know, why don't we, you know, let Primrose play the main game on the weekend? Because we want some extra supporters. But I mean, they went bananas for us when we were playing at 3 o'clock, and it was just such a nice thing for the community to have the main game.
And watch that game as well, yeah.
Well, absolutely. We've been supporting Villages the last couple of seasons. We wanted them to do well. We know they went through a tough time just before COVID as well. And to see them rebuilding, I mean, we supported them last year. They supported us when we were on the Super C. And then this year, the year before, we were on the Super C. And then last year, they win. The fact that they played SK the week before, we were supporting them completely in that semi-final. And then, of course, the final. No, we were there for them. And similarly, they stayed fast, and we were celebrating the Claremont Cup, both teams being the champions.
Yeah, but it's like, once again, it's that community feeling again, you know, of we not even 2 kilometers away from each other in walking distance. It's an amazing achievement what Primrose have done to come up. You know, it's going to be a hard climb to stay in the Super League with the new format.
Yeah.
But I mean, just to get a taste of it again after 8 years. And, you know, we had a couple of chuckers with them, and we had we tried to include them as much as we possibly could, because they need they need IP to go up to this next level.
Yes.
So it's like, it's not, I mean, as much as you beat us, I mean, we literally walked UCT around the scrum on Saturday. So, you know, it's like, and our set piece was quite dominant. So, you know, it's a different level. It's completely different intensity. I mean, we got provincial players. The guys came from overseas. They go, "Oh my God, I can't believe how difficult this is." In the
after the intensity is there, you can definitely see the increased intensity from Super League beaters.
It is definitely.
And then the other thing, you can't make any mistakes. The moment you make a mistake, that team is on you, and you don't have the ball back for the next 10 phases. And that's the biggest difference. And that is something that Primrose will have to adapt to, and learn towards. I think as the season goes on, we'll get better. I think at the moment we are still a bit undercooked, if I must say so myself. But as the season gets on, I think we've got a good coaching team, and they will get us up to speed sooner rather than later.
No, we'd like you to stay undercooked for 7.
There you have it, friends. Will become foes this weekend. Rosemead is the place to be. Villager taking on a Primrose. That is going to be a VP Super League A match. It's WP Jou Lekker Ding. Rugby is going to be the one that is going to be celebrated on Saturday. It's not a derby, it's a celebration on Saturday. Gentlemen, last words from you guys, obviously, for the faithful tuning in, supporters watching from your club. Any message from the two of you, gentlemen, before we sign out here from Newlands?
Look, firstly, everybody is welcome to come to Rosemead on Saturday. There's going to be a lekker vibe. There's always a lekker vibe there. There'll be food trucks and stuff, food on sale. Everything is halal. We don't allow alcohol, unfortunately. But the vibe is going to be there.
Same on God.
She's fine on there,
So our neighbors from down the road are going to come. So people must come, enjoy themselves. I mean, when we played UCT, there was a nice crowd, lekker vibe. I saw some of the Mr. Bromwell's executive there for the first time in a lot of seasons, so they're welcome back again. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game against our neighbors, and we hope to give a good account of ourselves and hopefully sneak a win or something.
It might be possible.
I'm not going to comment on sneaking anything, but look, it's once again, yes, it is a celebration. It means a lot to all of us that all our supporters in the area come out and actually enjoy the day. It starts at I think it starts at 1:30. The 3rd teams and the under 20s are playing, and it'll be an occasion. And you know, that's the best part about this rugby is that just come and enjoy it. It's part of our DNA, and just like at the end of the day, we shake hands and it's just a rugby.
Yeah,
it's just a game of rugby. It's a game of sport. And as much as people might think it divides us when we rivals, it actually brings us together. And that's the best part about it. And that's why we work so hard to keep it alive.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Anton. Waleed, thank you so much for your time, for being here. All of the best to the both of you and to the both of your clubs, and for this weekend. May be a massive success. And as you say, may bring communities together again. Thank you to all who tuned in, who watched, and gave their ears and time to tune in. You are the faithful, and we are doing this for you, obviously, to build communities, to build bonds, and to talk more about the rugby clubs. Today we had Villager and Primrose. Who knows who we might have on the next episode. So be tuned in, like, subscribe, and leave some comments. And yeah, tell us what club you would like to see next. My name is Lucian Kibudi. We're going to sign out here from Newlands Rugby Stadium, where the gees is still very lekker here. But we're going to sign out. Thank you once again, gentlemen. Until we meet again next Friday, see you again. God bless.